my name is Anthony and welcome to Wash Wednesday. Today we have Tyler. What kind of car we got, man?
A 2004 BMW M3.
Alright, so as good as this car looks, it is a little dusty. It's got a little bit of some bug guts on the front end and we need to take those off. So today we're going to be pouring the safest O&R wash possible. Which means 2 buckets of, that's 4, 2 buckets of O&R with a grit guard, big red sponge, an assortment of microfiber drying towels, and of course our famous wheel brushes. So we got to grab some water. Tyler, can you show me the way?
Over here.
Dude, sweet shot. Alright, so we have our buckets of O&R. That was probably the coolest shop to fill up with water at I've ever been to. That was awesome, man. So the first method we're going to be using is a rinse. So we're going to be rinsing the entire car off with water. Not no rinse yet, but water, because you're a little OCD, right?
A little bit.
A little bit? All right, me too. So that's why I want to do nothing but the best for this beautiful E46. So we're going to do a rinse with water first, get off all the heavy debris, all the bug guts and everything that we can first, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use a pre-spray with an O&R dilution of 256:1. So that's going to lubricate our surface before we start applying the big red sponge with the O&R. Alright, top to bottom rinse is what we're going to be doing with the hose. As you should always do, get all the dirt from the top, get it to the bottom so everything drains properly and gets to the bottom of the car. Dude, this is beating water pretty well. What do you have on the car right now?
About a month ago we did gloss coat.
Gloss coat?
Yeah.
Right on. By Optimum, right? Yep.
Yes.
Alright. No, it looks awesome, man. It looks like it's beating extremely well. I mean, gloss coat, there it is, yeah. That looks awesome.
Yeah, it's original paint, so it's 13 years old and 127,000 miles on the car.
Okay, so Tyler got the car hose down. Thank you for doing that. And now is the next process. So like I mentioned, we're going to be doing a pre-spray with O&R mixed at 256:1, so standard dilution. What we did is we filled a 5-gallon bucket, put these in there, dunked them in, and now we have our solution ready to go. So this is going to lubricate the surface and also encapsulate the dirt, which water will not do. So you're just pumped up, dude?
Yep.
Ready to go? Okay, let's just start spraying.
All right.
I'm finding myself having to pump more with these sprayers.
Yeah.
They're not the best sprayers in the world, but they're working. So anyways, man, I think now's the time to start talking about the car. Tell us about it. How long have you had it?
4 years, I think.
Okay, so you've had it for a while.
Yeah. Got it in Arizona, so flew down and drove it back home.
Right on. Another road trip car. We've heard about a couple of those.
It's really fun. Coming from an E46 M3 that I had for 10 years. I wish I could have kept both, but unfortunately I just didn't have the means to do both at the same time. Okay. It's a great car. It's a lot more solid, kind of.
Solid.
E36 kind of creaked and cracked, and it was kind of getting higher mileage too. But
I mean, even for back in the day, that was a luxury car, right?
Oh, totally.
So this, I mean, for this at that time, you said this was a 2004, so this is still pretty luxury, man, in comparison to other 2004s, right?
Yeah, it's kind of an all-rounder for me. I drive it winter time, you know, all year. It's my daily driver, and then I like to play.
Wait, you drive this all year round?
Yep.
And it looks this good?
Yeah.
You must, how far back are you from cars when you're driving? You're probably like a mile back, because I don't see a rock chip on that hood.
I'm not that careful. I'm kind of a speed demon, so when someone's in my way, I like to let them know that I want them to get out of the way.
Man, dude,
so
yeah.
I do have clear bra on the front bumper. I had the front bumper completely taken off and resprayed and
right
clear bra.
Okay.
So at least that's protected. The hood, it's got some nicks here and there, but I try and keep them filled. I do paint chip filling every spring, kind of dial in the car.
Gotcha. What do you use for paint chips?
Just Dr. Color Chip kind of thing.
Okay, Dr. Color Chip. Yeah, dude, that stuff's awesome. I've used it before, and it's probably my favorite paint chip repair product there is, because I've always wanted to be one of those guys to where I get my touch-up paint and I blob it and it blobs on the surface. Yeah. But Dr. Color Chip, I noticed, didn't do that.
It's just kind of a yearly maintenance that you got to do when you want to keep your car looking as good as it possibly can.
Exactly, prevent the rust and whatnot, right?
Eventually, I'll do a full respray, and then at that point, I'll do a full expel.
Same color? You like the red?
Yeah, because then you'd have to get into door jams if you wanted to do a color change. And
exactly.
And yeah, Imola Red's one of my favorite colors. I mean, this car came in a lot of really cool colors.
Yeah, no, I really dig the Laguna Seca blue. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Laguna Seca blue it's a beautiful color. It's just a little bit too loud for me personally.
Gotcha.
For a daily, but whenever I do see one, I'm like, looks like a jelly bean.
Yeah.
The E46 market is coming up as a whole because there's fewer and fewer nicer, nice, well-maintained cars out there. Most kind of higher-end, sought-after cars, they're expensive, and then after 10 years, they become affordable and easily attainable, and people buy them up, and not everyone takes care of them.
And this is a gem here. So how much spray do you got left? Because I'm pretty much out.
Are we supposed to be out?
What? You weren't doing your job? I'm just kidding, man. No, you did. You did good. So the surface is pretty well lubricated. I think it's time to move on to our next step. I think we're gonna go on to the O&R with the big red sponge.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so we got 2 buckets, we have 2 sponges, and we have 2 dilutions of O&R. So this is your first time using a 2-bucket method, right?
Correct.
All right, cool. So this is gonna be exciting. This is his first time using it. He's typically used to using soap and water.
Yeah, just Home Depot bucket, soap and water, 1 sponge.
All right, so a little old school. So we're gonna be changing it up today for you, and your car is gonna be getting pampered with O&R. So like I said, we've done a meticulous pre-spray with O&R, and now we have our sponges to top it off. So let's go ahead and grab our sponge and let's get going. All right, mine's been soaking in here for quite a while, and you just picked that up, right?
Yeah.
All right, so yours is brand spanking new, man. And this is after what, maybe 50 cars right here, so it's still looking just as good. His is just a little bit more red.
Yeah, I soaked this for 24 hours, so it's been soaking, so it's ready to go.
All right, right on, man. So go ahead and, so the idea is we're gonna go into our wash bucket here and kind of squeeze out our sponge here to where it's kind of on the verge of dripping. You'll kind of see it kind of just loaded with O&R. Okay. So after you do that, we're gonna move over to the top of the car, and I'm gonna get the left side of the roof, you get the right side.
Sounds good.
We're basically, the way you kind of look at it is we're applying O&R to the surface. That's kind of what we're doing. We're not sitting here scrubbing, we're just lightly applying it to the surface because we're letting the product do the work. Okay. So after we're done with that, we're gonna go back into our rinse bucket here. And so we're gonna dip this in here, kind of rub it on the grit guard at the bottom, squeeze out the old dirty water that we hopefully picked up from the car itself, and then back into our media bucket with our solution. All right. And then same process, we're gonna squeeze it until it's just kind of on the verge of dripping. And now what I'm gonna have you do is go panel by panel. So you're gonna start on the passenger side and go on the fenders. I'm gonna start on the driver's side and go on the fenders. And then after you're done with that, back into the rinse bucket, back into the wash bucket, and back onto the door. All right, let's do it. All right, so you said you've had this car for a while then. So are all the mods on this car done by you? Because man, this car is pretty modded from what I can tell.
No, it had some stuff done to it already. I've done my own personal things through the course of owning it. I've done some engine work. It already had a cold air intake. So I added super sprint headers and a custom performance innovations mid pipe with no resonators, and high flow cats into a status group section 3 muffler.
Are you still working on that fender, man? We're moving on to bigger and better things.
I can't talk and wash at the same time.
It's all good, man. So you're gonna go back into the rinse bucket, and then back into the wash bucket, and then get started on that door.
That's the wash bucket, that's the next one. I don't know what to do.
All right, so the O&R is applying to the surface extremely well, man. This gloss coat that he has on here makes it extremely easy to clean. You can just see the O&R is just kind of falling off the surface, which is super nice. But I mean, the paint's in such good shape, man. Like I can't believe he has over 100,000 miles on this car. It's insane. And this red is just pops. I always wanted a red car, and this Gosh, it's making me want an E46 M3. So tell me about this trunk, man. So you have this trunk on here, has like this duckbill to it. Now I've seen M3s and a lot of them just kind of have a small little, I don't know, a little flip up in the back.
It's actually, that's a replica of the CSL trunk lid that came on the CSL car, which was very, very rare and wasn't even sold in the United States. To my knowledge, I don't think it was. Anyway, it's a much better looking trunk lid than the US spec one, in my opinion, and a lot of people agree. So you could either get an OEM one for a couple grand plus paint, or you can get a either a carbon fiber or a fiberglass replica. This one is a replica. If I could do it all over again, and I probably will down the line, I will opt and get the actual OEM piece because it fits a little bit better.
Yeah, no, dude, it looks super aggressive. It's probably the most aggressive trunk I've seen on an M before, and most of them will have that carbon fiber, kind of that little lip on the back. But this is awesome, dude. It looks super meaty. Completely changes the back end of the car.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Tyler, so I know you said you daily drive this car, man, but what about tracking it? Do you autocross it? Do you drag it? Do you do anything fun like that?
Yeah, I do whatever I can. So being in Idaho, we don't really have a racetrack within 5 hours of us. So I do autocross it occasionally when I have time. I did a hill climb last summer. I'll do, a spirited drive with, other enthusiasts, around the Loman Loop.
Yeah.
Enjoy the car for what it is, really. And the plan has always been to take it to a track day. It's just finding the time to do so has been the challenge. But eventually, that's kind of why I've done the things that I have done to it, is so it is track ready.
Exactly. So the closest track we have here in Idaho is what, Miller Raceway?
Yeah. It's Utah Motorsport Campus.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
They changed the name, right?
Different owner, but yeah, it's Salt Lake City.
Okay. So about 4-hour drive then. So
Yeah.
do you trailer this down, or would you drive this as is?
I would probably drive it down and then have
Okay.
my track wheels in another vehicle.
Right on, yeah, man. So you're good to go. It's like a turnkey setup to where you can jump straight onto the track and just go for it.
Yep.
All right, man. So I feel like I've seen this car before, and I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it was, but you were saying that it was a pretty good chance it's the same car because you said this has been in a calendar or something like that?
Yeah, it was in the Turner Motorsports calendar a couple years back.
Okay.
We did a photo shoot. One of my friends is a photographer, and we went out in Eagle, and the leaves were changing, and it's just a really, really nice color that pops against all those fall colors of the trees.
Yeah.
And it just was a really, really cool shot, and I submitted it to Turner Motorsports calendar competition, and they picked it for October.
Dude, that's
and then
awesome.
from then on out, it's appeared on other places online, and I don't know, people just like the image, so they just grab the image and just use it for whatever they want to use it for. So which is totally fine.
That's awesome. That's kind of cool that you have like a car that people can recognize and see and be like, dude, I think your car is on my refrigerator or something like that, right?
Yeah, the way that I've kind of designed, the exterior aesthetics of the car, specifically choosing the BBS wheels, BBS and BMW kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion, with their the history of motorsports and racing together in the DTM series and whatnot. And when I did the big brake kit, I really wanted to do Brembo because, again, Brembo and BMW kind of, they belong together, but I just went with a stoptech kit because there was a slightly used stoptech full brake kit on a forum in the classified, so it was too good to pass up, so I ended up going with that. But I did get the red calipers to kind of go with the with Imola Red.
Yeah. So we have gone ahead and we've completely saturated the car in O&R, not once but twice. We've used our big red sponge, so now we're going to be moving on to the drying process using a drying aid. So I know you mentioned that you were interested in trying out Opti-Seal, right?
Yeah.
And seeing how that works out on top of the gloss coat. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna grab our Opti-Seal along with our waffle weave drying towels, our white waffle weaves from the Rag Company, and we're gonna be using those to pretty much dry the entire car and get everything nice and clean. All right, so now we're moving on to the drying process. So first things first, we're gonna knock out this back end of the car since it's in direct sunlight. Now with O&R, you don't have to worry about direct sunlight for the most part. You're still gonna get water spots. However, the O&R is gonna turn the water into a polymer. So it's no longer a hard water spot, it's a polymer spot, which makes it easy to remove and it's not gonna etch the surface. But that doesn't change the fact that we wanna knock out this area first because we're in the beating sun. So we're gonna be using our waffle leaf drying towels, and then we're gonna be using Opti-Seal. So Opti-Seal is a synthetic sealant to where we can spray on each panel. It's typically 1 spray per panel or 2 sprays per the biggest panels like a hood or a roof. But for the most part, you're looking at up to 8 months of protection for the most part, depending on how you wash the car. And it looks awesome, puts a great gloss. So like I said, it's gonna be a drying aid. So we're gonna be spraying probably 2 sprays there, and then you're gonna put your towel on where the Opti-Seal was and start drying. Makes it extremely slick, and with the gloss coat, it makes it even slicker.
Yeah, that's insane. That is crazy how fast that goes.
So I'll let you give it a try, man. So go ahead and try that rear quarter panel and do a spray there, and I'll do a spray on this other side. So what were you currently doing before getting the car gloss coated to wax or seal the car?
I just would biannually have the car detailed and just polished and waxed. In the winter time, since I do drive it in the winter, I tend not to wash it, just to leave it dirty.
Exactly.
And then in the spring, once it's nice, because I like to wash my own car. I don't like to go through an automated car wash. And I like to do it
You don't
myself.
want to install the swirls on it at a car wash, right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I just try and keep it looking as nice as I can. Do a weekly wash, and then in between just do maintenance with a spray, like a detailer spray and a microfiber towel. That was kind of my go-to until I educated myself about all the new products that are available to help
Eat some more over there.
These looking nice.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, you're doing an awesome job. Like I said, I think that gloss coat is gonna kind of lock in that color, lock in that protection, and keep it looking good. And especially now we're topping with Opti-Seal, you're gonna get some gloss to it and even more protection.
Yeah, I cannot believe how well this is drying.
But you paint, you do your own paint work, you do your own graphic work, right? So Censport graphics. So tell me a little bit about the company.
Yeah, so 11 years ago, I was going to BSU and was taking graphic design and started, racing for myself. Wanted a custom painted helmet, just learned how to do it myself, and that became a full-blown business. And 11 years later, I'm still doing it. So just painting race car drivers' helmets.
Yeah,
for a living.
That's super. Like just saying that you do that for a living is pretty awesome. So, like, what are some helmets that you would spray? Like some typical, what are some brands and some styles of motorcycle helmets or sport helmets that you would spray?
I'm a dealer for 3 different brands: Arai, Stilo, and Bell. They pretty much dominate the market worldwide. There's other brands, but those are the ones that I choose to sell anyway. I mostly deal with the automotive industry and not so much the motorcycle industry, just because motorcycles, when you ride, obviously there's a risk
that's
for ruining your investment.
That's what it kind of comes down to, because I ride motorcycles, and I kind of thought about it, like, as cool as a custom helmet would be, what if I tripped and I dropped my helmet, or God forbid I get into an accident? How much am I looking to lose? Probably quite a bit, depending on the work.
Yeah, they're not cheap for sure. So,
all right, so let's go ahead and move up to the top of the roof here, while we still have some lubricity up top. I just wanted to get that back end dried, because I know sun isn't a friend to most things. So what's awesome about Opti-Seal is the fact that you can use it on every surface. You can use it on windows, you can use it on trim. Like, I'm sure you've used the wax before, to where you get it on trim and you have that permanent white spot, right? You've just made your black trim white.
Yep.
And that's not fun for anybody. So Opti-Seal won't do that, and it's the same thing with the Optimum car wax, which is really cool. All right, man, so I gotta know, what are your future plans for the car? Turbo, supercharger, any boost in its near future?
No, I don't think so. Supercharging has piqued my interest, but with it being such a high mileage car already, adding that extra strain, I wouldn't really feel comfortable doing that.
Okay.
It's pretty much good to go. I've done quite a bit to it. If I did dive into the engine a little bit more, I would probably do cams and maybe a CSL intake and call it a day.
Gotcha. And so any other engine work done to it
There's
yet?
a full exhaust, pulleys, and a custom tune.
Okay. So custom. Where'd you go to get the tune done?
Tuning Tech by Frank Smith. It actually was done remotely.
Remotely,
I
okay.
plug a programmer or a reader into my OBD2 port and drive, and it data logs as I'm driving, and then I can send that file to him in Maryland, and he can look at the data.
In Maryland?
And say, okay, we're gonna tweak this, tweak that. No, he'll send me an updated file, and I'll upload it to the car, do more data logging, and you just kind of do that over and over,
back and forth. That's interesting, man. Yeah, I didn't know that. And so, like other cars, like I guess boosted cars, for example, a tune is kind of like the best bang for your buck, right? It kind of like makes it a more perfect driving car for what maybe you want it to be. So
Yeah.
how does that work with a naturally aspirated, straight six like this?
Oh, it's just optimizing the fuel and the air ratio to get the best burn possible. It's also an SMG gearbox, so I did have an SMG tune put in to where the SMG shifts a little bit quicker, a little bit smoother.
Okay.
Because this is the first generation of a sequential gearbox where it actually has a clutch. It's just operated by a pump instead of your foot and a clutch pedal.
Gotcha, okay.
So in traffic, it's kind of clunky and kind of cumbersome. It was meant to shine on the racetrack.
Gotcha.
So it kind of smooths that out a little bit, makes it a little bit more user-friendly. I'm happy with the way it is now, and other than just maintenance and possibly a respray down the road, I plan on keeping this forever.
Forever? Yeah. So, all right, man. So we finished up with the front of the car here. I'm done with the bumper. The hood looks awesome, extremely shiny.
Yeah.
Like I said, that gloss coat with that Opti-Seal looks really good. So next thing we're gonna do is hit this front windshield. I'll let you do your 2 sprays. So another thing for you guys watching, we're still using the same drying towels. We haven't swapped out towels. We're still using the same waffle weaves, and it's pretty absorbent, right?
Yeah, it's damp to the touch, but it's still picking up water.
Yeah, no, these are probably one of my favorite towels, man. I mean, as far as like having that value and and still being cost efficient and durable, these are definitely up there. Looks awesome. Looks really, really good. Okay, so with the wheels still wet with O&R, we're gonna finish with those last. So we have our wheel bucket filled with O&R along with our extra green wheel brushes here. You can see those are pretty green, right?
Yep.
So we have our green wheel brushes, and we're gonna be using Power Clean to clean the wheels. So as you can see, they're pretty dirty. They're pretty covered with brake dust due to these giant stoptech brakes. So we're gonna go ahead and spray down the wheels here. Get it pretty heavily coated with Power Clean. We're gonna let that sit, I don't know, for 10, 15 seconds or so, and then we're gonna start agitating everything with the brushes. So I'll let you start on this first. It's pretty simple, man, and I'm gonna work over to the next side. Does that work?
Sounds good.
All right, so grab a brush and let's do it. What do you think, man? What do you think about the brush?
I think it's getting in those nooks and crannies a lot better than my hand with the towel wrapped around it would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, these web wheels are really cool looking, but they can be a pain in the butt to clean.
After I do a couple rounds with the brush, I'll rinse it out and rub it against the grit guard at the bottom of the bucket, kind of get all that dirt and stuff released, and then go back to it. Okay, so the front wheels are done. Now we're moving on to the back wheels. One thing I forgot to mention is that we are using a diluted Power Clean. So it's diluted 3-to-1, which means 3 parts water, 1 part Power Clean. Great for cleaning your wheels, great for cleaning pretty much any exterior surface. And so we're gonna coat the wheels, and you can also clean the tires. So that's what we're gonna do with this brush alone. We're gonna do wheels and end with tires before rinsing it back into the bucket. Got it?
All right.
I'm gonna move on to the other side. So tell us about these wheels, man. What size are they?
They're 19 by 9.5 in the front and 19 by 10.5 in the rear.
And the tires you have on them? Super Sports?
Yeah, Michelin Pilot Super Sports. It's a good all-around tire, a lot of grip, and actually has a really good wear rating. They're not cheap, but the only thing touching the ground between your car and the ground is a tire. You want to have a good tire.
Okay, so we're gonna be starting on the drying process on the wheels. So we brought something special. We brought our Instant Detailer and Gloss Enhancer. Just like we use the Opti-Seal to use as a drying aid on the car paint, we're gonna be using this as a drying aid on the car wheel. So it's really simple. We do a couple sprays, and we're gonna be using our mini miner 10x10 terry towel. It's extremely easy to manipulate and kind of get into small cracks and crevices. So you start on that side, I'm gonna start on this side. So you got, these are pretty big wheels, man. It's a two-person job, right?
Yeah, I find the wheels are the most time-consuming part about washing the car.
Yeah, and they got that awesome, it's almost like so they have like this metal finish, but then they have, is that like an aluminum lip, or what is that? Because it's shiny.
It's just a trim piece.
Okay.
And it's, you know, it's removable, replaceable if you do curb a wheel.
Oh, okay, so it'll protect it from curbing.
Yeah.
Nice, because you wouldn't want to curb one of these wheels,
No.
I'm guessing, right?
No, you wouldn't.
That would be an expensive mistake. Alright, so that wheel is done. It was a two-person job, so we're gonna go ahead and knock out the rest of the wheels, and we're gonna wrap it up. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Alright, so we are officially done cleaning the E46 M3. We've cleaned it with O&R using the meticulous 2-bucket wash method with 2 buckets of O&R, and we used Opti-Seal to protect the paint. So, what'd you think, man?
I thought it was easy peasy. It was much easier than my traditional method, and about the same time, and the results were stellar.
Yeah. So, what product did you like the most out of everything we used?
The Opti Coat.
Opti-Seal?
Opti-Seal.
Opti-Seal?
Yes,
Okay,
Opti-Seal.
I was like, I wish we used Opti-Coat, man. That would have been an expensive drying aid. But no, the Opti-Seal is what you liked. That's kind of what made that surface slick, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as like towels, what did you like using?
The waffle weave towel was good because each one of us had one towel, and between 2 towels we were able to dry the whole car.
Yeah.
And these are nice too. These little ones are nice.
The little mini miners.
So when you're down doing the wheels by the ground, it doesn't flop on the ground and
well, that's
pick up
kind of
dirt.
that's kind of the reason why I picked it. This is probably one of my favorites for wheel cleaning, along with our little edgeless 245 we have, just because, like I said, it's easy to manipulate and it's small, because you know that feeling when you're trying to dry something and it's dragging on the ground. That's the last thing you're using to dry your car with. So you're able to grab that and kind of contour it to the wheel and to the lug nut recesses and everything.
It'd be good interior towel too.
Oh, dude, yeah, totally. Great interior towel. He's just finding more reasons to like that towel. So that's all him. That's not me pushing it. So anyways, man, so we've cleaned the car. It's protected. It's looking better than ever. So now the most important question of the entire show, of the entire series is, can we go for a ride?
Of course, why else would you want to have a clean car?
All right, let's do it, man. All right, so seatbelts on and we're ready to roll. So let's start this thing up, man. Oh, all right, straight 6, so let's do it. Okay, so we are in the M3 right now. We are up at some kind of back road twisties right now, and kind of ripping around on the M3 and do this thing. This thing is awesome. So far the handling feels insane. It's got these recaro shell seats that you installed, right?
Yeah.
And they hug so much more than the stock M3 seats, and I'm extremely impressed so far with this SMG transmission. It shifts extremely fast, and the downshifts just sound super aggressive. Got a little bit of a straight. All right. Oh, dude, this thing rips. Oh man, this thing goes. What does this have? It has 300 and something horsepower?
Yeah, to the crank is probably 340, something like that.
Gotcha.
All the power lives up top, so you kind of got to wring its neck.
Dude, that sound, this thing, holy crap. And it brakes. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. The torque feels there to me. This feels like straight up race car.
Right here, you can dial in how soft it shifts gears. So
oh, really?
Set to 1, there's a gauge right here.
Okay.
If it's set to 1, it will take a really long time to switch gears, so it's really smooth.
Yeah.
So you feel it right here. How much time was in between shifts?
Yeah.
If you go all the way up to its maximum setting, it pounds it right into gear. And it's harder on the drivetrain.
Okay.
But it's a quicker shift.
Oh, that downshift. Dude, this straight 6, it just sounds incredible. It sounds so good. so good. I know you guys are probably having a hard time hearing this exhaust, but this thing just roars in the upper RPMs. So you definitely are wanting to track this ASAP, right, with these new brakes?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because dude,
just to get to test this transmission out in a really deep brake zone.
I
Threshold braking.
And you said this has 100,000 miles on it?
126,000.
It feels like it's pulling like a brand new car.
Good all-rounder. It's a good daily driver. You know, it can handle, you know, when I autocross it, it does pretty well overall.
Yeah. And these Michelin, these Super Sports, these tires, I can't explain the amount of grip that these things have for being a daily driver tire. It came with coils, right?
Yeah, Bilstein PSS 9s.
Dude, you know, these coils, they feel awesome.
Soaks up the bumps,
but right when you take it into a turn, it's like they know exactly what to do. They're like, okay, it's time to stiffen up. It's time to do our job. I think we just took out a small rodent. I think a small rodent isn't going home to his family tonight.
I think he went underneath, actually.
Oh, did he survive?
I didn't feel him under the tire, so I think he made it.
All right. He'll live to see another day. I can't believe it. Whew. Okay, so we are coming to an end on our drive, and dude, I had a blast. That was awesome. And this M3 just impressed the hell out of me. It was absolutely awesome. Anyways, so I want you guys to go ahead and check out his work, his awesome motorcycle graphics and designs and everything he's done for motorsport helmets, meaning cars and pretty much everything that encompasses motorsports, right?
Yeah.
So what's your website they can check it out on?
Censport.com.
Censport.com, okay. And then he also has an Instagram where you can see more of his work, and that is...
It's just Censport.
Censport, nice and simple. Okay, one word, I like it. So it's short for Cenarrusa? Cenarrusa, Tyler Cenarrusa, okay. So it's short for that, so I thought that was a pretty cool little twist on the name. So we really appreciate you guys watching. We're excited about more Wash Wednesdays, and yeah, did you learn a lot? Did you learn a little bit?
Yeah, I learned all I need to know. So,
learned all you need to know.
I can keep my car looking its best.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And that's the whole point of the show, is to keep you guys informed, give you cool cars to look at, and also just have a blast, man. These rides are awesome. So stay tuned for more videos here at the Rad Company and more Wash Wednesdays to come. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. I think a small rodent isn't going home to his family tonight.